Okay, Andy, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your testimonial today about how you found your life retuning session. And I understand that it was about 2 years ago that you had one session
Yes.
with me. Yeah. Okay, so I'd just like to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure, fire
Um,
away.
what was the problem that you had a life retuning session for initially? What did you come to me for?
I had been talking to a friend about a business idea that we had. I was in 2 months because I had two propositions at the same time,
Yeah.
and I really couldn't make my mind up as to which one was the best for me.
Right.
And because I was indecisive, it began to make me concerned about my own future. Make a decision as important as this, and it didn't feel like I was capable of making the decision correctly. And when I began to realize why couldn't I make the decision, I'm mid-40s and a father, and I realized that I had quite a number of self-doubts and stuff that had been perhaps lurking in the background of my mind, which was stopping me from making a coherent decision. And you were recommended heavily by a friend of mine who had wonderful results from seeing you from one session. And I thought, wow, if that's what can happen in such a short period of time, it has to be worth my while. It's crazy not to. If you have an opportunity of the solution, I think it's crazy not to explore that solution.
Sure.
And so, not reluctantly, because my friend said to me that it was very good and I respected that friend,
Yeah.
I took the decision to come and see you and have never looked back.
That's great, thank you. And you mentioned about the self-doubts and the two possible routes, but how was that problem specifically impacting your life at the time?
Lack of self-confidence.
Right.
You wouldn't look at me now and think I was lacking in self-confidence, but I absolutely was then.
Mm.
I had some stuff going on, if you remember, in the recesses of my mind, which I'd actually blocked
Yes.
out. I'd absolutely
Yeah.
blocked out.
Mm.
And I was not racked with self-doubt, but I had enough self-doubt
Yeah.
that I knew that I wasn't capable of making the decision that would affect the future of myself and my family.
Yeah. Right. And if you'd just like to share, how did the life retuning session change your problem, your issue?
Wow. Um, it blew me away because if you remember, there were things that you had realized about me that impossible for you to know because I had blocked them out as a small child.
Yes.
Not huge issues,
Mm.
not great gossip, no great melodrama,
Mm.
but my affected me in a way that I couldn't quite understand why they were treating me, and I didn't know why.
Right.
And so as an adult, I carried on that guilt.
Yeah.
If you remember, for a number of years, oh
Yes, I
gosh,
do.
best part of 35 years.
Mm.
And I couldn't understand why I felt this way towards me. But when you began to unlock what had happened, I couldn't have known because I had simply blocked it out and it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I had to phone family back in Scotland and give them the sort of timescales that you gave me for
Right.
them to confirm to me that you were right.
Ah, now you didn't share that with me. That's very interesting. Very interesting.
And I had to be reminded what happened to me.
Right.
It's quite personal. I had, and for the personal reasons, I had blocked it out.
And so the times that I identified during the life retuning session were accurate to what your family told you afterwards?
They had to go and check their records, if you like,
Yeah.
and you were spot on.
Wonderful.
So I knew that I couldn't have given, nobody in my family knew because I couldn't have told them because I had blocked it out.
Ah, yes.
They were quite severe.
Yeah.
But many years ago,
Yeah.
with illnesses and trauma that my family had, and I had clearly taken on wrongly the guilt for that because it was absolutely nothing to do with me. I was a small child.
Yeah.
But I realised that other family members, it was much easier to stop them from feeling guilty.
Yeah.
When actually they were adults and I was a small child, that they should have done more. It's much easier to blame somebody else and take responsibility yourself.
Absolutely. And just to say that as a child, quite often you do this, so that matches up. What can you do now that you couldn't do before you came for the Life Retuning session?
Well, that's a very big point, because I'm convinced that I would not have taken the plunge to start with my business partner, R&A Fabrications. To the degree, and the certainty that I can say with that, is that Rona and I had decisions to start R&A Fabrications, and I had chickened out.
Right.
Chickened out, saying, and I could think of, I think there were valid reasons, but they were really valid reasons tinged with fear. Fear. I was scared. I was scared of taking the debt on. I was scared, I didn't think I could do it. I was scared of letting people down, colleagues, family, friends, and I really wasn't sure I could do it. So to make life a bit easier for myself, I looked at another option which would have been easier. Yeah. And actually, in hindsight, looking back, it would have been the wrong decision to make.
Right. Yeah.
And so, well, but I wasn't at that place in life. Now, the benefit of the session with you was so huge. The evening I left you, I telephoned a key member of the team that's been with us now since day one and asked him if he would join us.
Wonderful. So an instant change. Yeah. And
I knew that I didn't have the confidence 4 hours earlier. So you unlocked for me, again, not great melodramatic instances. We're not, you know, I'm an average bloke, but for me it was so life-changing, life retuning, as you say, that it put me on the right track, that I kind of knew was there, but I didn't have the confidence and self-belief, I should say, to be able to go for it.
Yes.
And so it's dramatically changed my life.
Right. Well, that's wonderful to hear you share. Thank you. So are there any other ways that Life Retuning, not regarding your business maybe, but that Life Retuning has actually changed your life since that session?
It has grown, it has allowed my family and I to get closer.
Wonderful to hear.
And that was not a benefit I had even remotely anticipated. So I have aunts and uncles in Scotland who are elderly, and I have seen them, and they are clearly not going to last an awful lot because of their frailty and their age. And I've seen them 4 times since I met with you. I hadn't seen them for 20 years.
Wow, that's amazing, Andy.
Because I wasn't close to them.
Yes.
I wasn't close to them.
Yeah.
I realised that the day I phoned them after the session to see was this what this lady had said, was it true? And they then didn't give me a glib answer. They said, well, gosh, we'll check into the dates and timings, we'll have you back to you. And that relationship has had a quantum leap in improvement. Wonderful. Since that day. So not only did you give me the confidence and ability to start the business, which is going well, we're in year 2, we're in profit, employing 9 people, doing well. There's always challenges, because there are always challenges. That's
business.
Always business. Lots of challenges, but having the confidence to actually take one head on and achieve success. We are modicum of success, but we're on the right track.
Wonderful.
So not just business, but family life.
That's great to hear that there's also the other side, because you've got the business and life balance, obviously, and Life Retuning actually does balance up the two with the bit. That's great. So
there's more than that.
Yeah.
And that was because my wife was blessed with me that I took the decision not to put my head into the sand and hope that the decision would come to me in some flash of inspiration, which doesn't happen in life. She was impressed that I appreciated that there was a problem. And then, as I say, rather than ducking out of the issue, which most people do, I went to seek advice, which was quite scary. Sure. But you made it not scary, you made it great fun. And she was impressed with me that I had the determination and the bravery to look for what some people might see as an alternative therapy. I just saw it as somebody who might just be able to help, and my God, you did.
Well, that's wonderful too. That relationship between you and your wife has also been strengthened then and improved, which is tremendous to hear. So what do you actually think about Life Retuning?
I wasn't skeptical because of the recommendation I'd had personally about you from somebody who I knew well.
Sure.
I also saw the before and after with them. And the before was fairly average, ordinary, not great health, not great outlook on life. And the change was quite remarkable. And the person's health has dramatically improved. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
And their outlook on life has had a diametric shift. Now, my son is close to their son, and he too has had a benefit. And you think, well, that's a fairly amazing thing to achieve in under an hour and a half. That's pretty special. So, what did I think of it? I was convinced it would work.
Yeah.
So I went into it with an open mind, and it blew me away.
That's wonderful. What about the actual treatment itself? Have you got any opinions about how you actually found the process itself?
It was so easy. I say, because I didn't have any skepticism about it. I went in there thinking that I don't understand what you're doing. But my opinion was to go with the flow.
Yeah.
And not resist it. So what do I think about it? I went in there not expecting it to work, but giving it the chance to work.
Sure.
Because I wasn't convinced that I would be a good enough person to be able to appreciate it and react to what you had said to me. So I had no doubt. Because I had seen the before and after with a friend, I had no doubt that it would work if I was prepared to be brave enough and to take on board your feedback.
Yeah, right. So for a business person, for instance, would you recommend that Life Retuning would be a good treatment or system to get them over their blocks, their self-limiting beliefs, their fears, their anxieties, in order to be able to maximize their potential?
Yes.
Great.
An unequivocal yes.
Yeah.
Rona and I are not sitting here millionaires, but at least we have a belief in the future which we're making.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I can't talk on behalf of Rona, that's not fair, but I can talk on behalf of myself, when I was in a job earning arguably more money, but we have our own business and we have therefore the potential to earn good money, life-changing money, as the months and years wear on. And that's because we're in charge of our destiny. We're not letting somebody else design our future, we are designing our future. And even that in its own feels fantastic. And it's not for me, it's a privilege, not a huge onerous responsibility. Right? We have 9 families that rely on us. I relish that because I can help them, and I know I'm doing the right things on a daily basis to help them have a much better future, and they're much better for meeting us. So, but you do have to be brave.
Yes.
And most people aren't.
No, that's true. Yes, it does take a leap of faith. It does take bravery, certainly. But the rewards are you have just very eloquently shared. So, is there anything you would like to add for the viewers of this interview with you?
Take on board my passion for what happened. I was fairly confident because I had seen the before and after. Not everybody will have the opportunity that I had to see that quantum leap, to see that change in somebody who I knew quite well.
Sure.
But if it feels right, do it. Feels right, do it. Because you've only have one crack at life. There is no dress rehearsal. You have got to grasp the opportunities that you have. Now that's what we have done, which has started our own business. But it certainly will be an opportunity to improve, be it in a job, be it in business, be it at home. Surely we owe it to ourselves, let alone our family, children, wife, husband, our loved ones, friends, colleagues. Surely we owe it to ourselves and to all of them to be the best we can. And if so, my advice is, if you have the opportunity, if you're lucky enough to hear about Life Retuning, if you hear about it, and then you do nothing about it, then that's a real shame. Have some belief in yourself that your gut feel is right. It's proven right for me, and I know other people who've sat in front of you and had great results. To grab it, Nike say, just do it. I don't think I can improve on their strapline.
No, that's a pretty good strap line, and I like it that you've used it. Okay, that's tremendous, Andy. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and I'm sure that those who will be listening out there, the viewers, will have got a really good flavour of your experience, your journey with Life Retuning. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure, and good luck to everybody.